Hi guys, Asmo here. So in the last video I mentioned that I'm going to be explaining my league start strategy and my Atlas trees. In this video, this is exactly what I'm going to be doing. So let's start with basically what I'm going to be playing. I'm going to be playing Ignite Elementalist, which is going to start with Wave of Conviction, and then I'm going to change it into Ethereal Knives Ignite Elementalist, which is going to have huge coverage, huge clear, because we're going to have Explode, Ignite Proliferation, and it's going to basically chain throughout packs of monsters that are connected. So this is going to be really good for things like Expedition, things like Legion, and also things like Harvest later. So I am starting as usual with picking Betrayal. Why do I start with picking Betrayal? I want to accumulate as many missions as possible because this is going to give me a chance to get my all of my crafts very early on. Crafts are super important. The earlier you get them, the better. It's going to give me more rare gear. It's going to give me huge amount of experience, and also it's easier to do in the earlier maps. So as soon as I can, I'm going to be doing Betrayal. So we're picking the covered stakeouts and we're picking the focused investigation, get as many missions as possible. Then I'm pathing through here. I can possibly block all of the stuff I don't need. So this is gonna be something like Metamorph. This is also gonna be Heist, which I'm not gonna be doing this league, even though it's still gonna be good. Blight as well as Ritual. I am not gonna be blocking the Delirium Mirror because running through the mirror will simply just give me more loot and I don't really waste any time doing it, so that's really nice to have. Then we're gonna be picking up more June stuff. We're gonna be picking up some Legion stuff, so we're picking a lot of the chances for stuff to naturally spawn, and early on I'm gonna be running with the Stream of Consciousness as well. So Stream of Consciousness is basically gonna make it so that I don't have to use any scarabs, any fragments, anything like that, which early on I'm not gonna have anyway. So I'm basically gonna get higher chance for the extra content, and I'm gonna immediately start farming it. As I'm progressing the Atlas, I'm gonna be doing all of this stuff. So in terms of this keystone, the Extreme Archaeology, I talked a little bit about this in my previous video. I don't recommend it unless you're playing Corrupting Fever Champion or Toxic Rain. Other than that, I don't recommend this. You're gonna have too many remnants that are gonna break your expedition, and you're gonna like only have to pick a small portion of it, or you're gonna just not be able to clear it, and it's just gonna be very annoying. It doesn't take that much to just put a few explosives in, and also you get more explosives, more radius from picking all of these other things. And this basically cancels it, right? Because number of explosives is 1, and here you get plus remnants as well. You get where you get additional explosives. Yeah, increased number of explosives in your maps, right? So this thing is being cancelled out by that. So definitely I would not pick that up. So for let's see, for Expedition, we're not picking this up. This is Expedition monsters spawn with 20% of their life missing. Detonation chains travel slower. This is just terrible. Never pick that up. This stuff that usually makes things easier is pretty bad because it doesn't really speed you up, right? Like this thing doesn't really speed me up. So like 20%, it doesn't really matter. I'm gonna explode everything anyway with ignites and proliferation and corpse explosions anyway. But here we've got, for example, Protracted Battle, right? So this is Legion encounters in your maps have 40% increased duration. This is something that is a negative. However, Legion monsters in your maps take 50% increased damage while in stasis. This is a positive, right? So you're gonna kill them quicker. If you happen to have like a annoying rare that is immune to like fire and ignite resistant or whatever, this is gonna help you a lot. If you happen to have a boss, this is gonna help you a lot. So you're gonna clear the Legion faster because of this node. Then let's go further. We are picking up this one gate because we're picking the shaping of the mountains here. And then from this gateway, we're moving just 1 point down, and here we have shaping of the skies. So early on, I'm looking for all of the shapings. All of the maps found have 5% chance to be 1 tier higher. All of that we're picking up. So we're pathing to these 2 shapings. Then we're pathing up and we're picking this. These 2 keystones actually break your tree, right? So Fortune Favors the Brave applies additional random option, 100% more. So this technically doesn't brick my stuff unless I want to use Fortune Favors the Brave. And I don't necessarily want to have this allocated. But this one, map crafting options also choose 3 random Atlas passive skill associated with that league and 100% more cost. this is pretty bad. I want to pick what I have. I don't want to rely on any RNG. I want to make sure that I'm going to be using this stuff. Like, for example, I don't want like Legion stuff to pick me this, the face off, right? Where we get 60% like more generals and stuff. I actually don't want generals. So this is something that you want to avoid. That's why I'm pathing through here and just pathing through the 7th gate, which literally does nothing, but I'm picking up all of these smaller nodes. And then we're pathing through some quant, picking up the extra quantity of expedition logbooks, which is very, very good, and picking up the shaping of the world. And that's basically how we finish this up. And then for the betrayal, we're also picking up the intelligence gathering, as well as test of loyalty. And this test of loyalty basically allows you to much quicker build up your mastermind fight, because you're going to be able to have like higher ranks. You're going to be able to quicker progress your what's it called, intel, right, in your safe houses and for the mastermind. So this is very, very helpful. Here I actually don't want the bribery node, because I don't want the option to bargain for items. I want to build relationships, or I want to increase the ranks. Those are the things that I want. I don't want the items. Items are gonna come. You're gonna have too many items from it anyway, so you actually don't need that. And yeah, what else do we have? We have also stuff for Legion. So we have chance for the timeless splinters to drop as timeless emblems, chance for Legion encounters. We have a chance to contain Legion encounter, and also war supplies, as well as pillage treasures and logistical support. So this is going to give me more guys that have rewards, more rewards. So they're like currency, stacked decks, incubators, all of that stuff is going to appear more often on top of the guys in the Legion. And also we're going to have extra a random reward and extra war chest. War chests are the war horde is something that gives you a lot of loot as well. It drops a lot of divination cards. It's really, really good. And then lastly, we're pathing through this gateway, Eldritch Gateway, and connecting it to here. And we're picking the Searing Exarch stuff, right? So we got the Light of Dawn, and we got the Wrath of the Cosmos with World of Exarch. So we got all of these red altars available, because red altars are what you want to run in maps most of the time. So this is basically the setup that I'm going to start with. One small modification that I can do is I can remove this. If I don't want, sometimes you don't want the intelligence gathering, so I can remove these 4 points, and I can go into here very easily and block the breaches and block abysses, because breaches and abysses are pretty trash, so you can block that as well. If you have enough map sustain, you can also remove a couple of points here and you can block that instead. That's another option that we have. Now, after I finish all of my stuff with betrayal and I get to higher tier maps, I'm gonna go also into harvest, because early on, while you're doing like lower tier maps, you know, stack deck is a stack deck, right? Incubator is an incubator. In low tier maps, legions are completely fine. Same with like expedition, right? Like dropping the logbooks early on, you can run the logbooks and you get currency from 2gen and stuff like that. The currency is always currency, right? It's not, doesn't really scale that hard with the levels. It's only the logbooks, but you can just run logbooks of your appropriate level anyway, so that's totally fine. However, harvest scales pretty hardcore with in terms of like amount of juice you get depending on like the map tier you're doing. So you definitely don't care that much about harvest early on, but later on when you're doing T16s, it becomes better. So later on, we're going to basically have the second version. This is also going to be linked in the description. And this version has a little bit less map sustain, because at this point we should have pretty high map sustain in general. Pretty good. We would be doing like pretty well on that, because we're going to have like some favored maps as well. So we're going to be doing well on that. And what we're changing is the pathing slightly so that we can include harvest stuff. So for harvest, we've got this. So we got a chance to contain sacred growth. Again, we can run with the stream of consciousness as well. That's something that we can do. I can actually remove something. What would I remove in order to add the stream of consciousness? I can remove like chance for Templar army and add the stream of consciousness in here. So we can run with this. So we have the harvest here, all of chance for harvest, and we got additional harvest inside of the harvest, right? So the additional crop, and then we have also extra XP and 10% chance to spawn additional monsters. Again, more monsters means more juice. And then also we have here more juice from harvest and also higher tiers of the plants. And that's basically it. So my strategy is going to be very heavily reliant on those like AoE clear mechanics, right? So Legion, Expedition, Harvest, and Red Altars. So I'm gonna be trying to run pretty juiced maps with later potentially like I'm gonna look into like increasing pack size. I'm gonna be looking into different keystones that I can use for that. But for now, I just wanted to like give you like a basic starter trees that you can use to run these strategies and follow along if you want. Like if you don't know what to start with, this is what I would do. A couple tips I can give you as well. If you are not specializing, right? Like for example, I'm not specializing into essence. This is something I talked about on stream, but this is something that I think a lot of like, especially newer players, maybe not even newer players, like unless you're like advanced player, people don't really understand this. Don't do essences, like don't even touch them if you don't have the +1 to essence, right? Like if you don't have the amplified energies, don't even think about touching essences in your maps. It's a complete waste of time, right? Essences take a long time to kill. They're like juiced up rares, right? And they will not give you anything. You're gonna get 3 times fewer essences if you don't have this allocated, right? Because having essences 1 tier higher means basically that you tripled the amount of essences that you're getting. So if you're getting 3 times fewer essences just by not having this one node, that means you're also gonna have to wait 3 times longer until you have a sellable bulk, because you wanna sell them in bulk, not individually, because that's also something that you can lose a lot of currency on by not selling them in bulk. So you get 3 times fewer of them, you have to wait 3 times longer, and you just make 3 times less money, and it's way slower, and you're just gonna get a bunch of random trash essences that you never use, that you don't want. It's better to just skip them, farm your league mechanics that you're actually specializing in, make the currency, buy essences, be 10 times more efficient. Definitely do that. No point to like fight metamorphs and die and go again, like just pointless. Don't do that unless you're specializing in that and your build is good for it, and that's what you're doing as your strategy, right? Because if you're not specializing into the league mechanic in terms of playing an appropriate build and specializing in all of the appropriate passive points on the Atlas tree, you're gonna be way less efficient. So definitely avoid stuff that you're not specializing in, with the exception of maybe like delirium mirror and stuff like that, right? That doesn't really scale with anything necessarily that you need to be doing, right? Because you can just walk through the delirium mirror and clear your map as normal, and then you just get some extra loot at the end and don't really care about it, right? But yeah, that's it. Hopefully this has been helpful. The trees are going to be in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time.